Welcome everyone to Football Addicts Anonymous podcast. As always, I have my friend Chris Cherry here.
Yep.
No special guest today. Possibly have someone on Friday. For those who were with us from the beginning, they'll know who that is. But before we have our defensive line rankings to go to today at the end of the show. But before that, we will get to the game reviews from this FCS weekend here, an upset-filled weekend, just absolutely ridiculous. My parlay wasn't even close. And the heartbreak actually starts on the first day, the first game that we'll talk about from Saturday. But before we do that, first, the only game on Friday night, I watched it a little bit. I think I said I wasn't really going to watch it. I did watch a little bit of it. Southern beat Alabama State 24-21. Both quarterbacks were pretty dual threats. Nettles and Skelton there ran the ball pretty well. Skelton, especially, obviously, with 72 rushing yards there for Southern. But yeah, good game. The Friday games have been pretty good so far in the first couple of weeks. So, good for Southern.
Wait, you said both quarterbacks were dual threats, but there's no rushing stats there for Nettles.
Yeah, I know. I think his when I looked at the stats, the only reason I said they were both dual threats was because when I was watching the game, both of them are running. But for Nettles, his rushing stats got bogged down by sacks because he ran the ball 15 times for -5 yards. But they don't have the sack statistics on ESPN, so I actually don't know specifically how many sacks he got taken. But yeah, like I said, though, when I was watching it, both quarterbacks were running around. So, but yeah, anyways, Chase Foster there for Southern, the 14-yard pick six as well. Good game for Ja'Cory Merritt and Ezra Gray for the Hornets. I believe they're the Alabama State Hornets. But not enough to get the win against Southern. And they actually kicked the game-winning field goal, 12:20 to go in the fourth quarter. So held on for quite a long time in the end of the game.
Yep.
Alabama State did cover, though, +7 under 52. All righty, the first game of Saturday, number 2, James Madison, beating Robert Morris 36-16. And this one was interesting. I, again, listened to the game because James Madison wasn't on ESPN. And again, I had the over for the second straight week in a row for James Madison, and it didn't hit once again. The line that I got it at was 54, 52. JMU took too many field goals in the second half. But yeah, this one was 16-16 at halftime.
Wow.
Everyone was shocked because, it started out 2-0 for JMU. They got a safety off of Robert Morris when the center snapped the ball over the quarterback's head at the 1-yard line. But yeah, and then it was 9-2, 16-9 for Robert Morris. And then 16-16, and then JMU literally dominated the second half, shut them out. But yeah, like I said, they had 2 drives of when they got field goals, 2 back-to-back drives of 26-yard field goals. So they were literally inside the 10-yard line and they couldn't get touchdowns. All I needed was one. If I'd have got one touchdown, it would have hit the over. Like I said, the parlay didn't really matter considering how many upsets there were, including.
Did you get anything right in your parlay?
I don't believe so.
That's when you know you had a bad week.
No, yeah, there was nothing right with it. But anyways, yeah. James Madison. We'll talk about the updated top 25 coming up here. I think we'll do that at the end of the reviews. But yeah, they look like the number one team in the country now, which they are. So Cole Johnson struggled though. 3 picks in this one, including he had 2 consecutive picks actually there in the second quarter, I believe it was. But their running backs have been carrying them so far through the season. Jawan Hamilton, Percy Agee, obese there. 2 touchdowns for him. And yeah, there's the 3 guys that got the interceptions: Taheem Crocker, Aaron Green, Jacob White. And yeah, I think that's it really. But yeah, good job by Robert Morris. I mean, the last time they played James Madison was, I believe it was 4 years ago. I think it was that they said, and they got beat 73-7. So definitely a good step up.
Yeah, they halved James Madison's score there, so that's a good step.
Yeah, and I think this team will be competitive coming up. They need to get better quarterback play, obviously, from Jordan. Yeah. Robert Morris, easy cover, 36.5, plus 36.5, under 55. Number 5, Northern Iowa. These first couple are games that didn't get upset. The next game will start a trend of like 7 straight or something like that, that are upsets. But yeah, Northern Iowa took care of business, 21-0 shutout over Youngstown State. And like I said, I wanted to see defense in this one. And Northern Iowa brought that. Youngstown, like I said, though, allowing 26 to North Dakota State last week, 21 to Northern Iowa this week, 2 top 5 teams. Not terrible. If they can get some offense, they might have been able to win one of these games. But yeah, Will McElvain, not a great day for him at all. Both the quarterbacks for Youngstown State, horrible as well. Completion percentage good, but they didn't throw the ball that many times. But yeah, UNI really ran the ball, and Quan Hampton there, 74 yards, was the leading receiver in the game. But yeah, very boring game. Troy Jakubik for Youngstown had the 1 interception there.
Yeah, that's kind of funny though, because 21-0, but only that 1 turnover between the 2 teams, right? So that's kind of crazy that, I mean, there wasn't more scoring, even just field goal.
Yeah, only 1 turnover. But I mean, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10 punts. So. But yeah, UNI also. I mean, they lost last week to South Dakota State, but they're definitely up there. Again, better quarterback play though is needed to beat the top of the top. So Northern Iowa covered -8, under 39 hit, and that was funny because we had the preview on Friday. I was like, man, this is the lowest over under of the week at 30. It was 39.5, I think, when we had the show. And it was 39, and I was like, dang, they actually did hit the under.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. This is the start of the upsets. Chattanooga upsetting number 11 Wofford 24-13. And again, this was one on Friday. We were like, why is it only 2.5 for Wofford? Ended up actually at 4.5 for Wofford. And yeah, Chattanooga took care of business. They got really bad game by Jimmy Wyrick there. Also picked him off once. But it was interesting because Ryan Lovelace had a good game on the ground, 82 yards off 12 carries. The two backs for Chattanooga, though, combined for over 90 yards. And then Reginald Henderson there, 102 yards through the air receiving. So, yeah, I mean,
It looks like Chattanooga was in the right place at the right time, and they dominated this game pretty much.
Yeah, and I mean, it was close throughout. Chattanooga actually, they were up 14-13 going into the fourth quarter, and then scored 10 unanswered points to end the game. So, but yeah, Gino Appleberry, I think is a pretty good back. Average 3.3, but you know, yeah, Appleberry. He also has a great name. So, but again, it's just crappy quarterback play, man. I mean, you're not going to win if you're throwing for 51 yards and a pick on almost 50% completion. So yeah, first upset here: Chattanooga plus 4.5, under 44. Next upset, the biggest upset of the weekend. Southern Illinois taking out number 1 North Dakota State 38-14. It was at Southern Illinois, so that has to play into it. But 39 straight games North Dakota State had won. 39. And the Salukis take them out, blow them out at home. Again, like I said, though, Zeb Nolan has to play better than he did last week against Youngstown State. He didn't play good in this one either. Had 2 touchdowns, turned it over twice, and they lost.
Yeah, his stats across the board aren't good. I mean, you said he has those 2 touchdowns, but 54% completion percentage along with those 2 turnovers is definitely not good.
Yeah, those were the only 2 turnovers of the day, actually, for the Bison. But, yeah, I mean, I just think that they're not going to go anywhere unless either he steps up or someone else does at the quarterback position. Because this is, 2 straight games. They scored now a combined 39 in their 2 games. So almost 20 points per game, which isn't terrible. But you're also probably not going to win a lot of games in college football only scoring 20 points per game, unless you have a fantastic defense, which they've proven they haven't really. Especially against Southern Illinois, who was ranked number 24 last week, unranked this week, back into the rankings with this win, obviously. But yeah, Avante Cox, really good day for him there for the Salukis, as well as Romare Elliott and Javon Williams both scoring twice. And yeah, Nick Baker efficient, not turning the ball over, so good day for them. Southern Illinois plus 16.5 over 46. Another upset, number 14 North Dakota going to 2-0 in Missouri Valley play, 28-17 over number 3 South Dakota State. And this one could have been closer. I will just say that, because I don't know which receiver it is. I would have to see what number these receivers are. Who is number 9? That is the guy that I'm Jaden Janke, right? 100-yard performance for him. Great. But this one could have been a 1-score game, because Mark Gronowski dropped a dime to him in the back of the corner of the end zone, and he dropped it. This was second quarter, I believe. And that was when, at that moment in time, I believe it was 7-0, or no, this was first quarter, actually. Yeah, because I believe it was 7-0 South Dakota State. Could have been 14. Ended up missing a field goal on that drive. North Dakota goes down, scores, ties it up at 7. But yeah, I know, I don't know, you saw the tweet that I put out on our Twitter on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
But this Mark Gronowski kid, he is not playing like he's a freshman, man. Obviously, 50% completion is bad, but 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 turnovers. Again, that part of the game, he's a freshman. He's fumbled twice in 2 games. But, you know, some of the balls that he's been throwing, man, I mean, they're just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that he has a bright future, and South Dakota State does because of him. They didn't get the win in this one, but I mean, North Dakota's been playing out of their mind the first 2 games of the season too. So,
Mm-hmm.
You know, Pierre Strong as well is a fantastic back to have in the backfield for the Jackrabbits. But Otis Wea for North Dakota, really good back there, pairs well with Skonkna. And yeah, the Janke brothers, South Dakota State, I think they're going to rebound. I think they have a chance. With North Dakota State not being so solid this year, James Madison, South Dakota State, I think, are my 2 right now that I like at the top there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jordan Kennedy with the pick. Ray Haas also had the interception. Preston Tetzlaff, the one that got away from Tommy Schuster there. But yeah, all in all, like I said, I thought this was going to be the game of the week. I believe it ended up being the game of the week in my mind. It was the one I paid attention to the most, so that kind of helped. But yeah, and this was one of 2 ranked opponents. Yeah, one of 2 games that had ranked opponents, or no, one of 3 games that had ranked opponents matching up together. But yeah, I thought this one was pretty good. And like I said, I'm on the South Dakota State train right now. Mark Gronowski's my guy. So
yeah, we'll have to see at the end of the season if he turns out to be something good, because you've been good at picking certain people out. So we'll have to highlight Mr. Gronowski there.
Yeah, well, I win some, I lose some, so I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, North Dakota plus 9.5 and under 48. I want to put an FCS future bet on it, but I don't think the site that I use at FCS National Championship bets available right now. Another upset here, the other Dakota, South Dakota, getting their first win of the season, 27-20 over number 7 Illinois State. Yeah, again, it's quarterbacks. The stat line for Bryce Jefferson's terrible. 4 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 6 total turnovers there. Philique Brown also fumbled the ball once on while he was carrying it there. And yeah, they were lucky to be in this game, man. I mean, you're not gonna turn the ball over 6 or 7 times and hope that you're still there. Yeah, 7 times, 3 fumbles, 4 picks.
Yeah, that's crazy. This game was so close, like you said, because of the turnovers. But I'll say this: every time we talk about interceptions and stuff, I always kind of wish that they had some sort of subcategory of interceptions, because 4 interceptions is a lot to be all on the quarterback. Obviously, I didn't see the game. I don't know if you watched it, but I have a feeling that at least one or two of those was not necessarily the quarterback's fault.
Yeah, I mean, I know Pro Football Focus says, but that's a lot more complicated than I can comprehend. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't know. You know, again, Illinois State was lucky, I think, to have this one as close as it was. It's testament to their defense, making it a one-score game. But yeah, and the thing is, they had a chance too. Like it was all Illinois State, 17-0 at the 9:15 mark in the second quarter. South Dakota goes on a 27-0 run, 27-17, and then the Illinois State kicks a field goal with 10 minutes to go in the game. So I mean, they had a whole 10 minutes to score a touchdown and tie it up, and they couldn't get it done. So
Wait, one name that kind of stands out to me, and I was trying to look and see, but I can't really see anything about him. But do you have any idea if that wide receiver there for South Dakota, Caleb Vander Esch, do you know if he's related to the Cowboys linebacker?
I'm not sure. I didn't look at. I thought the same thing when I was doing this, and I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say anything about his brother, so maybe they aren't related. But I just thought that that's such a rare last name. I think that they were, but
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly where Leighton Vander Esch is from, but I'm pretty sure he's from that area, that northern Midwest area. He did go to Boise State, so
there's a chance.
Possibility, yeah. Miles Harden there, 2 picks. John Ridgway with 1 for Illinois State. Elijah Reed and Isaiah McDaniels also had 1 for South Dakota. Shout out to Timothy McGloin for having a touchdown there, the fullback for Illinois State. And also Austin Nagel for Illinois State. Good game for him overall. Let's see. South Dakota +5, under 49 by 2. Close one there. But yeah, like I said, though, Illinois State with 10 minutes to go, their drives after they kicked the field goal to make it a 7-point game. Interception, punt, interception. So yeah, and they drove to their own 48 on the first interception drive. They went 3 and out at their own 46 on the punt, and then on the last interception, they actually drove all the way down to the South Dakota 17 with 39 seconds to go, and then got picked off. So they had a chance. It was there. All right. Next upset. Or no, the next one is not an upset because it's against a Division II opponent. Not as bad as we thought it was going to be, though. Number 8, Kennesaw State, winning 35-3 over Division II Shorter. And Shorter actually was up. They were up 3-0 early. But yeah, Kennesaw State, they're not going to have passing numbers. They run triple option, so it's going to be all rushing pretty much. Kyle Glover there, 87 yards on the ground, touchdown. And then, I mean, Tommy Bryant there, the quarterback, 3 touchdowns as well. Their backup scored on the ground as well. But yeah, I mean, as expected, a blowout against a Division II team. Xavier Robinson there for Shorter did have an interception off of Tommy Bryant, one of his 2 passes thrown. So, yeah.
I mean, I know that a team with triple option isn't really known to throw the ball a lot. Obviously, we see that here, but it's kind of impressive that one of the 2 pass attempts from that quarterback was intercepted. Like, that's taking advantage of your opportunities as a defensive player right there.
Yeah. Harold Cook played admirably for sure. 75%, 79 yards though, not great. Did turn the ball over twice, but yeah, as expected. No covers or over unders because Division 1 against Division 2, they don't have lines for that. So go to the next upset though. Incarnate Word blowing out McNeese, number 19, McNeese State, 48-20. And yeah, Cameron Ward played outstandingly for Incarnate Word. I mean, also they ran the ball very well. You can see there, 160 plus for those 2 guys combined, Kevin Brown, Caleb Ducros. And yeah, I mean, they just threw the ball all over McNeese, really.
Yeah. The thing that stands out to me about this game is actually going back to our conversation that we were having on the show on Friday with Russ, because he had mentioned that Incarnate Word was actually a pretty good small school. I don't think he would have predicted this kind of blowout game, but if I can remember correctly, he did say something about them. And I mean, he did shout out a lot of these smaller schools that weren't supposed to win these games. And as you mentioned, it's upset weekend. So
Yeah,
if
and this
nothing
one,
else, it shows that he knows what he's talking about.
this one was ugly early too. It was 31-3 at half. And yeah, I mean, the closest that McNeese got was 21 points. It was 31-10 in the third quarter and 41-20 in the fourth quarter. So yeah, that was the closest they ever got.
That's crazy.
So yeah, not a good day for McNeese. Sikori Tolds there, 100-yard kickoff return touchdown. That one made it 14-3 in the first quarter there. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what Incarnate Word keeps, if they can keep it up. I mean,
Wait, just looking at these stats too, why did they have that one quarterback in, Kevin Yeager? Why did he come in for one play? Was it some sort of trick play? Because I mean, obviously it was a 3-yard touchdown, so it was on the goal line, pretty much.
I have no idea.
I mean, that's what comes to my mind though when I see that, because unless for whatever reason the starting quarterback got hurt and had to come out for a play, but I don't know.
Yeah, I can't find it here. Actually, I was looking at the wrong. That's why I was looking at the wrong team on the drive charts. Yeah, I don't know. They probably. Well, that's why. That's why. Yeah, he was in at the end of the game. That's why. And they only threw it one time because they were running.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because well, he didn't get that much time though, because he came in. He must have came in after McNeese State called their last timeout or a timeout with 55 seconds to go, because then Keandrick Filio ran for no gain, and then on 4th and 2, Kevin Yeager ran for 42 yards to the McNeese State 6-yard line. McNeese got an offside penalty, which made it 1st and goal at the 3, and then Jaeger threw it to Amir King for 3 yards.
Just
With
a little
33
salt on the wound there.
Yeah, with 33 seconds to go. But I think Incarnate Word could actually end up being 3-0, possibly. I feel like they're going to be at least 2-0 after next weekend, because they play Lamar, who we'll see in a couple games here. But then they play Southeastern Louisiana, which could be tough, and then they get their hardest test, I think, in Nicholls State in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we will see Nicholls State here in a little bit, but yeah,
Yep.
good win for Incarnate Word, first game of the year here.
Mm-hmm.
Thought McNeese was better than that, but apparently Incarnate Word's better than McNeese.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see or waiting to figure out who is the Coastal Carolina of this season, but I haven't really seen any that really stand out to me. I mean, obviously,
Dakota
yeah,
so far. But yeah, Incarnate Word plus 11 and over 57 easily. That was another one you said about Van Der Esch there. Cody Orgeron, I'm not sure if that's Ed Orgeron's son or no idea. But yeah, it's another name that's interesting. Another upset. VMI taking out number 10 Furman 14-13. This was the second leg of my parlay. Furman minus 21. Great. Yeah, Reese Udinsky there, 70%, 248, 2 touchdowns, had the interception, but overall pretty good day for him. Yeah, the stats I think are very misleading. I don't know. They look like they would be in favor of Furman. Really.
Yeah.
And you know what this game actually came down to? I was watching this game. Missed extra point by Furman on their second touchdown. That's why they lost the game. They scored with 15 seconds to go in the third quarter, missed the extra point, 13-7. And then VMI scored with 17 seconds left in the third quarter, 14-13. Very boring game.
Yep. Wasn't this one of the ones that you were like the most confident in though?
Yeah, because VMI usually sucks.
Yeah.
Then it was at VMI though, which didn't help, I guess. But still, I don't know what Furman was doing, man. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I tell you, it was the karma of upset weekend. That's what it was.
Yeah.
VMI got helped by the football gods.
Yeah, like you said, these stats would point to Furman being the obvious winner, but yeah, obviously not.
Yeah, both teams missed 10 times on third down. Furman was 9 of 19, 5 of 15 for VMI. 0 for 2 on fourth down for Furman, 1 of 1 for VMI. But yeah, 358 total yards for Furman, 268 for VMI. VMI only had 20 rushing yards the whole game.
Oh my God.
They averaged 0.9 per carry. 2.3 yards per carry for Furman.
Neither of those stats are that great, but VMI is like
both only had one
extremely
turnover.
tough.
Both only had one turnover. 6 penalties for 40 yards for Furman, 3 penalties for 15 yards for VMI. 36 minutes time possession for Furman, 23 for VMI.
So they were both equally bad, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean it was just game, man. Yeah, Furman let down, just like James Madison did once again. VMI covered plus 21. Another, we keep talking about names. Devin Wynn. I'm not sure if he's related to. Why can't I not think of his name right now?
Isaiah Wynn?
No.
I was gonna say the Patriots
Bucks
offensive
running
linebacker?
back. The Bucks running back.
Can't think of the name either.
That's not what I want. I don't know. Why can I not? Am I wrong that it wasn't the Bucks running back? Yeah, I'm thinking wrong. Never mind. I don't want to say who I was thinking it was. Never mind. But yeah, Ryan DeLuca, good game for Furman there. Did have the one fumble, however. Also, Darius Curse, one pick for the Paladins. BMI plus 21, under 63 easily. Another upset. Dixie State, newly into Division One this year. 26-14 over number 22, Tarleton State, who just blew out an FBS opponent in New Mexico State last week. But they ran into the buzzsaw of Cody Wilstead there. For Dixie State, 350, one touchdown there. Also had a rushing touchdown as well. And yeah, neither quarterback for Tarleton could get going. Terrible stats there.
Especially Mr. Burston there.
4 combined turnovers. But yeah, I mean, really, they didn't have to, though, with Raheem Skinner getting the ball 31 times for almost 200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he only scored 1 time, which didn't help. Yeah. And they also got helped by Kalen Horton with 93-yard kick return touchdown. So Skinner was their only offense, the only offensive touchdown. And yeah, I mean, Dixie State turning them over really, I think, was the difference in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was the third leg of my parlay. That didn't hit. Minus 27.5 for Tarleton. And yeah, the team stats don't look too bad for Tarleton, actually, because Dixie State turned it over 3 times themselves, but Tarleton turned it over 5 times. So.
Yeah, outside of the quarterback play, Tarleton looks like they did pretty well.
Yeah. And like I said, dude, I was so confident in Tarleton because they literally just destroyed New Mexico State. Who, granted, it's New Mexico State. They suck. I know. But they're an FBS school, not an FCS school. So it helps beating someone that's in the next level. Whether they're actually in that next level talent-wise or not. But I think, I don't know. Tarleton should be okay. Yeah. They don't. What division? Oh, that's why. Yeah. I mean, they're not in a conference, so they're going to win probably the rest of their games. Just looking at their schedule, it's absolutely terrible. They do play Dixie State again. At Dixie State this time. This one was at Tarleton State. In 2 weeks, actually, they play Dixie State again. So to see if there's some bad blood between the two after playing twice in 3 weeks. But other than that, they play Division II opponents. The Mississippi, I think that's Mississippi College. And then they play. I'll tell you what it says on ESPN. It says they play Midwest. It also says they play Northeastern State and East Central. which I know is in Oklahoma.
Yeah, those are some interesting schools.
I just like the one that says Midwest. That's straight out of NCAA college football game. But yeah, it's I guess it's tough when you're in COVID times and you're trying to put games on your schedule as an independent. And there's only two. There's only two FCS independents: Tarleton State and Dixie State. So see what Dixie State's schedule looks like here. See, now they actually play some people. They play New Mexico State this coming week. Like I said, Tarleton State the week after that. Then they have Kennesaw State, which could be good. Good test for Dixie State, I would say, considering what the rest of their schedule looks like. Fort Lewis, which I'm assuming is a D2 school. And then New Mexico Highlands. Good one there. Good one. New Mexico Highlands. It's great when you can't even click on the school logo on ESPN. That's when you know. New Mexico Highlands played Colorado Mesa, West Colorado. These are all 2019. Never mind. Chatham State, South Dakota Mines, Black Hills State. Great times. But yeah, anyways, Tarleton State should be all right the rest of the way, except for their game against Dixie State, their other game, which we'll see in a couple weeks. Dixie State plus 27.5, under 59. Another one. This one Russ called, dude. He called this one easily. Gardner Webb beating number 24 Elon 42-20. Carlton Aiken. Bad passing game, 3 interceptions, but did have 2 touchdowns on the ground. Ballman and Martin not stellar through the air for Elon. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, Isaiah Gathings and Nari Gaither led the way for Gardner Webb there, as well as Dev. That's supposed to be a V, not a B. Devron Harper, 41-yard punt return touchdown as well. And yeah, I mean, they blew him out.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like I said before, and like you just said, Russ knows what he's talking about, and Gardner Webb was one of the ones he said was really good. I mean, it is only a 1-game sample here, but who knows? They could start. This game could start a string of really good games for them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Elon actually had only 2 turnovers versus Gardner Webb's 3. And I'm trying to think of what they're the Bulldogs. I wasn't sure. I know that's what the mascot looks like, but I'm pretty sure they're the running Bulldogs though. I'm pretty sure that's because that's why the logo looks like it does, because they're supposed to be the running Bulldogs. I think it looks weird. I think it looks like the Bulldog is just sitting on his own hands. But that's just me. Anyways, it's never good when your quarterback is leading the way rushing for you, as Joey Ballman did for the Phoenix of Elon. And yeah, Cameron McCutcheon there, 1 pick for Gardner Webb. Omar Rogers, Dylan Tucker, Jalen Green, the interceptions for Elon. Yeah, again, another upset. Just crazy. Gardner Webb plus 18 over 51. There's not an upset in the next one. Not even close.
Nope.
Not even close. Number 9, Nickel State taking care of business for the second week in a row, 55-0 over Lamar. Lindsey Scott had an absolutely fantastic game. 6 total touchdowns there, 340 total yards. And yeah, I put the quarterbacks for Lamar because that's the only thing that was really I could put. Yeah. Nickel State, who do they play next? I mean, because if they're going to keep playing crappy schools, I mean, yeah, come on. Northwestern State this week? Like, really? They're going to blow them out too.
No, but it's crazy though that, I mean, at least according to the stats you put up here, there were no turnovers for either side, and yet Lamar couldn't even get close enough to kick a field goal.
Yeah, there wasn't any turnovers, no. 91 total yards for Lamar. 91. They couldn't even get a whole football field.
Too bad they couldn't get close enough for at least one field goal though, because I'm sure this game kind of pissed off a lot of bettors.
Yeah, I mean, well, the sad thing is Lamar got outscored by Lincoln, Division 1 NAIA school. Lincoln at least put 3 on North Nickel. And now the crazy thing is Nickel State's allowing 1.5 points per game now defense, and they're putting up. I'm trying to do the math in my head. I'm not going to do it in my head because I don't want to right now. So they're putting up 71 points per game.
If that's not a winning formula, I don't know what is.
And like I said, it's gonna be the same thing this week. I'm gonna eat my words probably, and Northwestern State's gonna beat it. Like, go ahead. We'll have that game on Friday. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Now I gotta pay attention to that game for sure next week, just to see.
They look fantastic right now. Just and Lindsey Scott is he's got it rolling. And he is actually, I'm trying to see what yeah, that's probably why. One of the factors anyways why he has it rolling is that he's a senior. Senior quarterback's usually pretty good. Yeah. I don't know. That's the thing. No one else really had that eye-popping statistics for Nichols. They just catch the ball and Scott throws it to him. Or run it. Yeah, they had 3 guys with rushing touchdowns there. Julian Guns and Hurst and Carrington. But yeah. Nickel State covered -22. I gotta start putting that in my parlay, man. That's what I need to do. Like I said, I'm gonna put them in next week and then they're gonna lose. Over under 55 pushed. And you're right, Chris. Push. Huh. But at least you don't lose money though. That's the only good thing when you're looking to push. If you're an under better, you love that they didn't kick a field goal. Lamar, that is. Because then you didn't lose your money. So
I'd imagine most people in this one, they'll probably pick the over.
I would agree. But obviously I've been bad at picking overs considering I damn you twice and they haven't paid off yet. All right. Next one. Also not an upset. Number 4, Weber State taking care of business, 49-21 over Idaho State. This one was pretty good quarterback play. Tyler Vanderwall for Idaho State. Not a good completion percentage. Also had 2 interceptions, but he threw 304 yards, 3 touchdowns. But yeah, Bronson Barron there, 312, 4 TDs, as well as 42 on the ground. Josh Davis, Dante McMillan getting it done on the ground for the Wildcats as well. And yeah, Tanner Connor there for Idaho State. Fantastic game by him. And yeah, Logan Lutui and Connor Mortensen had the 2 interceptions there.
It looks like the difference in this one though is that Weaver State actually had a running game, like 20 carries for 157 yards and what 4 touchdowns technically. I know the one was a receiving touchdown, but still.
Yeah, they ran for 289. Idaho State turned it over 3 times. Weaver State twice. But yeah, this was a pretty good offensive game. 638 for Weaver, 415 for Idaho State. So a lot of yards.
Mm-hmm.
Idaho State just couldn't get the ball in the end zone enough to consistently keep up with Weaver. This one, actually, the first half, Idaho State was probably feeling pretty good. They were down 14-0 at halftime. So that tells you how many points were scored in the second half. Specifically in the third quarter, Weaver outscored Idaho State 28-7 in the third quarter. And then Idaho State actually outscored them 14-7 in the fourth. Good end of the game for Idaho State, anyways. They could have played good in the middle.
Those are both probably garbage touchdowns, so I don't know how good they're actually feeling after that.
Yeah, I mean they were down 42-7 going into the fourth quarter. But yeah, I knew this was going to happen though. Like I said, Idaho State not that good. One of the games I actually did call. All the other teams that I said suck. Prove me wrong. But anyways, Weaver State covered minus 20.5 and over 52 easily. 70 points. All right, next upset. The other Idaho. Idaho beating number 12 Eastern Washington 28-21. And again, quarterbacks putting up pretty good stats there. Eric Barrier, he was pretty much the quarterback to watch as far as scouting goes this past weekend. Couldn't get it done there. 1 touchdown game. Idaho scored late. 54 seconds to go in the game. They scored their last touchdown. So yeah, pretty good game to my knowledge. I didn't watch this one. Anthony Smith, 71-yard pick 6 there. Tyrese Deadman with a pick as well. And yeah, a lot of stats. But Eastern Washington could not get it done. And yeah, 2 turnovers for Eastern Washington, 1 for Idaho. I think one of the biggest things probably for Eastern was 5 of 19 on third down. But I mean, Idaho was only 4 for 14, so it's not like Idaho is fantastically better. Neither team could run the ball. 87 yards for Eastern Washington, 70 for Idaho, both under 3 yards per carry. So, yeah.
Wait, does Idaho not have an abbreviation or something? Like, why did you
they do
leave it as Idaho?
They do, but it's 5 letters. The abbreviation on ESPN is IDHO. Why not put the A in? I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought originally I was going to do just ID because that's what the state abbreviation is.
Mm-hmm.
But I just I'm not leaving out the A. That's stupid. But yeah. Anyways, Idaho, another team I said sucked. Look what they did.
Hey, you seem to have that effect on teams and players.
I do.
Every time you say they suck, they turn out to be one of the best in the league. So,
yeah, maybe we should get Nick Beaudry on here. Plus 5.5 for Idaho, under 62.5. Again, that was one that we were like, why is it 62.5? It's pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
We were right. One of the few times we were right this week. High scoring game here. The last game of Saturday. Ranked teams: number 17 Sam Houston State beating number 18 Southeastern Louisiana 43-38. Both quarterbacks again just bombing balls all night, dude. 462, 4 touchdowns for Cole Kelly, 428, 2 touchdowns for Eric Schmid, 88 yards on the ground, and a fumble for Schmid as well. But yeah, this one, I was watching this one on and off. It was just explosive play after explosive play after explosive play. It started off 59-yard touchdown run by Ramon Jefferson. There was also a 78-yard touchdown by Ife Adei, 30-yard touchdown by Jaquez Ezard. I'm not sure exactly the pronunciation for that. Southeastern Louisiana didn't have explosive touchdowns, but they had explosive plays. That's why they have a lot of statistics here and yards. So
yeah, this going into the weekend of games, this was definitely one of the ones I had highlighted because, as you had pointed out at the beginning of this, there was only 3 ranked matchups, this being one of them. And I didn't realize it was going to be this high scoring what, 81 points, I think that is. But I knew it was going to be a close game because they're both ranked and they're only one spot apart. Even if they are 17 and 18, I thought it was still going to be a good game. And turns out it was probably one of the best, if not the best, of the weekend.
Yeah, I think the difference is that Southeastern Louisiana couldn't run the ball. Only 74 rushing yards versus Sam Houston's 244.
170 difference, yeah.
Yeah. Southeastern was at 536 total yards, 672 for Sam Houston. Pretty comparative on third down efficiency and first downs, as well as penalties. 1 turnover apiece, 7 minutes splits the time of possession there. But yeah, both these teams are interesting. I mean, they they're in the Southland Conference, which I think is setting up to be very good. In case you're wondering who leads the Southland Conference right now, one team that's scoring 71 points per game, Nicholls State. But they also have Incarnate Word, who we saw blowing out McNeese State. McNeese State, obviously, in that. Lamar, Southeastern Louisiana, Northwestern State, who is coming up here. Too bad. It wouldn't matter anyways because he transferred to Western Kentucky, but Houston Baptist isn't playing this spring. Neither is Central Arkansas, who I think is usually a factor. Stephen F. Austin also not playing. Another team that I think would be a factor if they were playing. Abilene Christian also not playing. So yeah, there's 3 or 4 teams that are not playing in their conference, 2 of which I think could have been factors in the conference race. But I think this is kind of Nicholls State's conference to win right now. Sam Houston or Incarnate Word I think could challenge as well. McNeese possibly I think could too. So we'll have to wait and see how the Southland shakes out. This one, Sam Houston covered -4.5, half-point cover there. Like to see that. Over 54. Easily. Sunday's games yesterday. Number 21, Southeast Missouri State blowing out Eastern Illinois 47-7. Andrew Bunch, fantastic there. Woodbury for EIU did not have as great of a day. Neither did his backup, Otto Coons. And yeah, the one guy that did stand out for EIU is Kendi Young there, 88 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown, their only score. But yeah, Zion Custis, Geno Hess, pretty good duo for Southeast Missouri there. 4 touchdowns combined. And Al Young, 25-yard pick 6. Ezeal Terrell and Mike Matthews also having interceptions.
Yeah, this is one of the few games that actually went kind of the way it was supposed to, with the team that was favored actually winning. I mean, I don't know what the line is or whatever, but I'm sure it wasn't supposed to be a 40-point blowout.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, this was another one that was ugly from the start. I mean, it was 34-7 at halftime. So I watched some of this game before I turned to the next game that we'll talk about on. There was 4 games yesterday. Only 2 had ranked teams in them. So yeah, I mean, this one there wasn't much, to say about this one. Pretty straightforward. And yeah, I mean, Southeast Missouri. I keep saying Eastern, Southeast Missouri. It's so easy to say Eastern instead of East. But yeah, I mean, they're in a competitive league as well. The OVC, the Ohio Valley Conference, Murray State, Jacksonville State, who we'll talk about next. Tennessee Tech also talking about next. Eastern Kentucky not playing this spring. Austin P, who people think sucks, considering they're 1-4, but they are only 1-1 in OVC play. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still think it's Jacksonville State's to win, but we'll have to see. Yeah, Southeast Missouri State covered -12.5 and over 50 because of EIU scoring a touchdown. Got the over 50 there. All right, last game of the weekend to talk about. Last ranked matchup here. Number 16 Jacksonville State taking care of business in their first game this spring, 27-10 over number 23 Tennessee Tech. This was the last leg of my parlay that did not hit. Thought it was going to be high scoring.
Nope.
I had the over 55.5. Great times there. But yeah, I mean, Jacksonville State's in a good position here. They played 4 games in the fall, went 3-1 in the. I believe they're probably. I think other than Austin P, I think Jacksonville State probably has the most games from the fall and now. But yeah, like I said, this was their first of the spring. Tennessee Tech playing in their second. Zion Webb, not that great, but I think what Jacksonville State's going to do this spring season is lean on their backs. They have a great duo in Uriah West and Josh Samuel, both scoring in this one. West very explosive. I saw his one carry that was 20 plus yards down the sideline the one time. And I believe Bailey Fisher got the start for Tech. Very poor play. I mean, Willie Miller didn't do anything better. He actually did worse. I mean, yards is better, but 3 interceptions is probably a lot worse. I would take less yards and no interceptions than more yards than 3 picks. But yeah, Seth Carlisle with a pick for Tech, Nicario Harper, Markel Benton, and Jeremiah Harris all with interceptions for the Gamecocks, Jacksonville State. And yeah, like I said, I think the Ohio Valley is really Jacksonville State's to take. I think Tennessee Tech will challenge. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer, but You know, I didn't expect that much from Tennessee Tech coming into the season. But once they kind of dismantled Austin P last week, I thought maybe they would be pretty good. And this one was actually also in Jacksonville, Alabama. For those who don't know where Jacksonville State is, so it was a road game for Tennessee Tech, which made it a little difficult. Jacksonville State had fans, so it is what it is. But I think Jacksonville State's a pretty strong team. They're overall a pretty strong program as well. Tennessee Tech did cover though, plus 14, under 56, way under. Okay. And that's all the games that we had this weekend. We have a full slate coming up next weekend, which we'll talk about on Football Friday this week. But let's get into the top 25. I should probably start making a slide for the updated top 25, but I didn't do that. I was kind of running out of time today anyways. Had to get checked and everything. But like I alluded to earlier, we do have a new number one. It is James Madison. They move up from 2 to 1. Weber State moves from 4 to 2. Northern Iowa back up to the number 3 spot. They started there in the preseason, went down to number 5 after their loss to South Dakota State, now back up to number 3 from number 5. And you know what's crazy? Guess who's number 4? The meteoric rise. The meteoric rise. North Dakota going from unranked all the way to number 14 after their week 1 win. And I'm blanking. Why am I blanking on who that was against?
Last week I can't think about it.
Southern Illinois. That's who they week 1. And then beat South Dakota State this week. You're up to number 4 from 14. Just crazy movement here. Villanova, who hasn't played yet, they're up from 6 to 5. North Dakota State down 1 to 6. Nichols up 2 from 9 to 7. South Dakota State down 5 from 3 to 8. Kennesaw State down 1, actually, 8 to 9. Probably because they didn't blow out Shorter enough. Jacksonville State up 6 from 16 to 10. Southern Illinois actually back in the rankings, way back. Like I said, they were number 24 in the week 1 preseason poll, went unranked last week, and now they are all the way up to number 11 after their win over number 1 North Dakota State. 17 to 12 is Sam Houston. Albany stays at number 13, still hasn't played yet. New Hampshire as well, still hasn't played yet, but they move up 1, 15 to 14. Illinois State down 7 to 15. Southeast Missouri State up 5 spots, 21 to 16. Furman down 7, 10 to 17. And then 18th, Charleston Southern, who hasn't played yet, goes from no ranking to 18th. Idaho also comes into the rankings their first time at 19. Wofford drops 9, 11 to 20th. South Dakota up in the rankings for the first time, no ranking to 20th. Eastern Washington down 10, 12 to 22nd. Monmouth moves down 3, still hasn't played yet, 20 to 23rd. And then Southeastern Louisiana, they are down 5, 18 to 23. And Delaware hasn't played yet, stays at 25th. I don't know why they keep Delaware in the rankings, considering they're only playing 1 game, as far as I've seen anyways. Yeah, I believe Delaware's only game this spring is against Delaware State. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Maybe not. Oh no, they're oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. Delaware's schedule starts this weekend. That's
I mean, the rankings overall were pretty good, but I'm going to say the same thing I said at the beginning of the fall season, and that is that I hate that there's teams in the middle of the season that haven't played a game yet, but they're still ranked, and some of them ranked pretty high. I mean, I had a problem back then with Penn State being ranked number 8 before they even played a game, and then we saw how bad their season went. So I'm sure some of these teams that are on the top 25 that haven't played yet, I'm sure some of them are going to be nowhere near the top 25 when all is said and done.
yeah, Villanova, the highest team that hasn't played yet at number 5. They kick off this weekend with a 6-game schedule coming up here for the Colonial Athletic Association, CAA, who I don't think anyone has a chance in anyways, considering that's the conference that James Madison plays. But yeah, anyways, teams that dropped out of the rankings was McNeese State from 19th, Tarleton State from 22nd, Tennessee Tech from 23rd, and Elon from 24th. As far as I got the right amount of teams. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So yeah, that's the top 25 this week. I'm sure. Well, I'm hoping it doesn't have a lot of upsets again next week. But it's only Monday, and I'm already excited for the next week's game. Like, all in for this spring schedule. I love it.
Like you've been saying, the competition might be a little bit less than the SES, but this is still football, and it's still pretty fun to watch. I mean, this weekend alone, right there, should show how fun it is to watch these games because there's so many upsets.
Yeah, and it gives you something to do while you're waiting on the NFL draft in April.
Although, if you're a fan of another sport like I am, baseball just started yesterday, their spring training, so that's coming up too.
I mean, I do have other stuff to watch. Hockey, NASCAR, it's great times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyways, Tennessee Tech plus 14 under 56 hit, like I said. NFL news. Thank the Lord we got some news today because we were going into this thing with nothing for the first time ever on the Football Addicts Anonymous podcast. We would have had no news.
Yeah, we literally had that conversation yesterday. You texted me saying there's literally no news, and then today all this stuff came out. So
yeah, so we're gonna leave the biggest one for last. So we'll start off here. The Bears, they had an interesting hire today. They hired former Texas head coach Tom Herman as the offensive analyst / special projects coach. When I heard that title, I was like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I have no idea what his job duties will be.
What is he trying to? Is he supposed to be coming up with some sort of like trick play or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they need to get a quarterback before they can do that.
I mean, they got your
well, they do
have.
I mean, yeah, they have the quarterback of the greatest trick play in NFL history. But he's not that great anymore, considering what they have on offense there. But yeah, just an interesting hire considering he was former Texas head coach there. But he is a pretty good offensive guy there. The Chiefs had some news today. Their GM, Brett Veach, I believe he had a little bit of press conference or something like that. But gave some updates on their 2 starting offensive tackles, Mitchell Schwartz, the right tackle, and left tackle Eric Fisher. Both expected to be back by training camp. Mitchell Schwartz dealing with his back injury that he was out for most of the year. Eric Fisher tearing his Achilles in the AFC Championship game, which was funny. Matt Miller, the NFL draft scouts, that is his Twitter name, and creator of his own website, the Draft Scout. He put on today in response to that, he's like, I have no idea how Eric Fisher is going to be back by training camp in like 7-ish months from a torn Achilles. He's like, but if that happens, I mean, good for him. But like 7 months after torn Achilles, that's a little quick.
That's pretty fast, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that he mentioned those two. I mean, I know those two were from injuries. That's probably why he was talking about them. But there was another offensive lineman for the Chiefs that didn't play this year that I'm curious about his status for this upcoming season, and that's why am I blanking on his name now? I just pulled his name up. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, who opted out to help fight the virus. But now that things are kind of getting under control with the vaccine and all that, I don't know if he might feel more comfortable to play this year, but we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, I mean, to my knowledge, almost every player that opted out in 2020 is going to be back in 2021. I know I didn't mention it on Friday, but that was also a piece of news that we could have had, that the Patriots said that all of their players are coming back. So their defense should be vastly improved with Patrick Chung, Dante Hightower. There's one other guy that I'm blanking on, but yeah. Marcus Cannon, not defense, but offensive tackle Marcus Cannon as well for the Patriots. So they will have all their guys back at least. I know they said that. But yeah, as like I said, as far as I know, mostly every single guy is going to be back that opted out. It's the same thing with college too. Guys that weren't going to the draft, obviously. One piece of NCAA news that I forgot to mention today actually was the deadline for players with 4 or more completed years of college football to declare for the draft or not, which is still, I think, a stupid deadline. If you're if you already meet the NFL requirements that you were in college for 3 years or out of high school for 3 years, I think you should just, I don't think you should have to declare. Like, you should just be like, all right, here's like my papers, to actually be entered into the draft. Like, I shouldn't have to, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, also with the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes had his toe surgery in February there. 3-month recovery timeline, so he should be ready for minicamp in May. Definitely going to be ready for training camp. But yeah, he should be good to go by mandatory minicamp in May. Other quarterback news today, 2 releases. The Washington football team announced that they will be releasing quarterback Alex Smith sooner rather than later. And one team that was brought up on NFL Network today was the Bears, actually. Ian Rappaport mentioned the Bears as a team possibly for Alex Smith. Has Matt Nagy ties, obviously. He was with the Chiefs when Nagy was there. But yeah, I don't know. That's the greatest fit for Alex Smith. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was trying to think about this when I was reading over the script, and I don't know. I think Alex Smith, his best option is to go somewhere where he could be the backup, and or even a spot where they do need a quarterback and at least fight for the job. I don't think that there's anywhere where he would go and be the guaranteed starter. So, I mean, yeah, I could see a place like the Bears, especially since Trubisky's not returning there. And I mean, Foles, we saw what happened with him last year with the Bears. He had some issues, but yeah, I still think that Alex Smith has a little bit left in the tank. I would just still be kind of concerned about his even though he showed that he could stay on the field this year, I would still be slightly concerned over his injury.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind him being in Philly. Actually, I think he'd be really good mentor for Jalen Hurts there. And Nate Sudfeld sucks. So the Eagles need a backup quarterback. Granted, they have a lot more pressing concerns than get it upgrading at the backup position, but I like the Eagles. One other team that I thought, who also has Alex Smith ties? That's in the league. That's a head coach.
Who?
One Urban Meyer
Oh,
in Jacksonville. Coached him at Utah. And yeah, I mean, obviously Trevor Lawrence most likely in a play from the start. So it wouldn't be going as a bridge starter, but again, I think that'd be a really good guy to have mentor, rookie quarterback. And I think Alex Smith is getting to the point in his career where he's kind of like the next guy we'll talk about.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's kind of getting into that age where he's player coach, essentially. So yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking about it now too, and I think regardless of what the Jets decide to do at quarterback, whether that's keep Darnold or draft another one, I think that Smith would be good in that role for the Jets too, being that backup mentor kind of guy.
Why don't they just bring back Fitzpatrick to be the bridge starter?
Because that's
he's available.
That's already guaranteed that they're not going to make the playoffs, even though they have probably zero chance to make it anyway.
It's interesting. Another one. The Patriots don't have a quarterback. Why not? But yeah, like I said, they're going to get Marcus Mariota. It doesn't matter anyways. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think he'd be a good backup wherever he goes. 36 years old. Who knows how many more years he wants to play? But yeah. Like I mentioned before, though, the next guy also released today. Texans released quarterback Josh McCown. And I mean, he wasn't even dressing for the Texans, really. He was their emergency backup quarterback. But yeah, he's gonna be a coach.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the more well-liked players in general, people in general around the league. So it's pretty safe to say that his playing days are over. Although I've been saying that ever since he left the Jets a couple years ago. So I mean, like you said though, he didn't really play. I don't even think he played at all this year. But
he was living in Houston while part of the Eagles, and then the Eagles cut him. Texans claimed him off waivers.
Yep. So he just wants to stay in the game, I guess.
He was just coaching high school. He was getting paid $12,000 for the season to get to coach high school football, essentially.
Not a bad gig.
But yeah, he's 41 years old now. Well, I don't know if he turned 41 yet. I know he was 40 last year. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, but I don't ever think he's gonna be actually on the field anymore again. So, in a uniform, anyways, he will be on the field, I think, eventually, in a coach's
Uh-huh.
uniform. So, whether that's with the Texans or not, I don't know. But I think it would be though. I think that's where he would start his coaching career, would be with Houston.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised though if it's somewhere else though, because he's almost as bad as, or he might actually be worse than Fitzpatrick. I don't even know whoever has been on more teams between the two of them, but they've both been on a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to go somewhere else.
You know where I want him? In Tampa. Let him and Brady talk it up. 240-year-olds.
Oh.
We'll be the QB's coach in Tampa, Josh.
Yeah, the probably the least important position in the entire league.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, what would you do as the QB's coach when you're coaching Tom Brady? Like, what can you tell him that he doesn't already know?
I don't know. I would be afraid to like coach him.
Apparently, you just got to be hard on him. That's what I've heard. All right. The McCown's former teammate now, even though he didn't play for the Texans, but yeah, the biggest news of the day: JJ Watt has a new home. It is in Arizona, signing with the Cardinals. 2 years, 31 million, 23 guaranteed. And I saw a CBS Sports, which granted I don't really like CBS Sports news coverage, but the update that I got for the JJ Watt signing made a lot of sense, and it was literally the exact thought that I had when I saw the contract.
Mm-hmm.
This was for money. He didn't go to a top contender.
Yep.
So
Yeah, when I saw the news pop up when you posted it in our group chat, I was actually kind of confused because he went to a team that's arguably the worst in their own division, even though they are a good team, and even though they just barely missed the playoffs this year. I think that the 49ers still might be better than them when fully healthy. So I'm honestly very surprised that he didn't go to a team that was pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
this was definitely more, like you said, more for the money than the actual chance at a Super Bowl. But the more I actually thought about it too, I totally forgot that his former teammate in Houston is now in Arizona. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I don't know if they had a little side conversation that kind of convinced him to come there, but I don't know.
well, the Chandler Jones was DMing JJ Watt on Instagram, and Chandler told him that he would be his personal chef if he came to Arizona. Um,
I mean, he did make that tweet about not knowing what place to order from when he orders DoorDash, so that might have played into it.
wait, what'd you say?
I said JJ Watt did make that tweet a couple of weeks ago about he takes an hour to figure out what he wants from DoorDash, so maybe knowing that he's going to have a personal chef might have played into it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was talking to Mark about this, and I think Arizona could be good. I mean, the issues that I have with Arizona is that really I think they need to re-sign their own free agents, get Patrick Peterson back, Hassan Reddick. But I think their front seven could be fantastic. Isaiah Simmons going into his second year at linebacker, Hassan Reddick if he's re-signed, to pair with Chandler Jones on the edge, and then put JJ in the interior there. I think that's a pretty solid front seven with those four guys.
hmm
And then if you re-sign Patrick Peterson, you lock down one of the corner spots. They've struggled to find the second corner for years now in Arizona, but if they can get that, they can draft a guy there. And then I think their offensive line is shaky, so they need help there, as well as depth wide receiver behind DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk's a guy that I used to be really high on. He hasn't done much the last couple of years. I think he's kind of getting soured in Arizona so far. They're still waiting on Larry Fitzgerald's decision on whether he's going to play another year or not. So we'll see what that does. I mean, the JJ Watt signing could even persuade Larry to play another year. I don't know how much influence that would have on his decision, but I don't know. I think Larry Fitzgerald is still solid.
hmm
Um,
I mean, he's definitely not the receiver he used to be, but I mean, it all depends too. I think that at this point in his career, if he wasn't already, I think he'd have to be down to the number 3 at the very least.
but who's their number two then? That's the issue. Like,
But I'm saying. I think that at this point, I think Christian Kirk would have to be ahead of him in the depth chart.
yeah.
So if he's willing to do that, then I could see him coming back, but I don't know.
I mean, I'd like to see Andy Isabella get more work. I mean, that was a guy I was really high on when he came out a couple of years ago.
hmm
Hasn't done too much, but he's an explosive guy. Saw in the Cowboys game there, he got a couple of shots to him, didn't connect on any of them, but yeah, I don't know. I think the Cardinals need to do some work in free agency and the draft, and I think they could be good. I mean, that's like you said before too. I also said this when Mark asked me my thoughts, and I was like, it's a tough division. I mean, went to one of the toughest divisions in the league, which I thought really, like a lot of people initially thought, Tennessee was a really good place option for him to go to. Granted, Tennessee's defense sucks, absolutely.
hmm
But I thought JJ Watt had his best years when Mike Vrabel was the defensive coordinator in Houston.
hmm
So I just thought that Tennessee would have been a pretty good spot for him. But
Yeah.
and it's funny because the Cardinals do play the Texans this year. So
I mean, I don't know. He doesn't seem like the vengeful type, but that also could have played into it.
Hopkins and JJ both get to get their revenge on Houston this year. Also, one thing that just popped up, this man well, the Bears, they released veteran corner Buster Screen, their slot guy.
I remember him all too well when he was at the Jets. I mean, I didn't hear much about him when he left and went to Chicago, but when he was with the Jets, he was the biggest penalty machine that I've ever seen. He would get so many holding calls or pass interference calls. Granted, the NFL had been very flag happy at that point, but
I mean, I
still,
think he played all right in Chicago. He's definitely not, what he used to be. I think he's somewhere around 30 now,
mhm.
maybe a year or two over. But yeah, I don't know. He'll be a low risk signing for someone that needs secondary depth. But yeah, that is all the news we have for today. And now it is time to play our favorite Monday game. Would you rather? Chris, are you ready for this?
Yep, I'm waiting.
First one here, a guy I know you love, Chris. Leonard Williams, Solomon Thomas, both guys around the same age, both guys disappointing careers, except for this past year for Leonard Williams.
Yeah, I mean, this one is a really tough one. I'm trying not to have my bias get in the way, um, because he was very disappointing as a Jet, as you alluded to. Um, but I think in this situation, I might have to actually go with him because I think he's had a better, a slightly better career than Solomon Thomas. I mean, obviously he showed flashes on the Giants this past year, um, but he yeah, he also I think is one of the better players when it comes to pressuring a quarterback. He just never, especially when he was with the Jets, he just couldn't finish. He couldn't get the quarterback down before the ball came out, or he couldn't get to the quarterback fast enough, which was I think his biggest downturn. But if he's able to get through a line in time, I think he's definitely the better player of these two.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is a what have you done for me lately league. So Leonard Williams with 11 and a half sacks this past year. Solid season for him. He's going to get a contract from the Giants. Solomon Thomas has been injured. Former number 2 overall pick a couple years back. And, like I said, injuries, and he's just gotten overshadowed by the guys that the guys on the defensive line. There was a reason that they traded for D Ford because Solomon Thomas wasn't getting it done at the other defensive end position. So both guys highly drafted. I think Leonard Williams' career has been going more right than left.
I don't want to say it was revitalized because he still hasn't shown that he could do this consistently. But it looks like going to the other side of the town really helped him out.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine if he goes back to how he played with the Jets after the Giants signed him to a extension. I mean, that's fine. It's fine. It's good. I'd be okay with that. All right. Number 2 here. I'll go first. Trent Williams, who is a free agent, or do you trade for Orlando Brown, who has played most of his career at right tackle, but played left tackle in the place of Ronnie Stanley last year, and said he will only play left tackle, which means he will not be playing in Baltimore anymore. This one's tough for me. I mean, but I'm gonna go Trent Williams. He's older by about 5 years, I believe, 5-6 years, maybe even more. I don't have the exact ages in front of me, but yeah, he's the proven guy. I believe he's I don't know if it's up to 10 Pro Bowls yet, but it's close. I know that 7 or 8 probably Pro Bowls for Trent Williams. And he's been consistent his whole career. He has injury history, which is kind of decreases his value, but I think he's still solid at age 33, I believe he is. And I don't know. I'm going with the more consistent guy versus the guy that hasn't played left tackle as much.
Well, for me, I would actually go with Orlando Brown. Kind of for my arguments against Trent Williams are actually kind of the arguments used for him. I mean, for a team that's looking for just a quick plug-in, I think Trent Williams would be the guy. But for a team that's looking for a long-term solution, I think Orlando Brown would definitely be the guy because, like you said, he's significantly younger. You said like 5 or 6 years younger. And this year, I think he kind of proved that he can play either side. I know he wants to play left tackle, but if he goes to a team as the left tackle and then their right tackle goes down, I'm sure he wouldn't mind sliding over to the right tackle because he already got paid the money he got paid to be the left tackle. So I think right there, showing that he could play either side, I think is a major reason why I would take him over Trent Williams.
Yeah, originally my pick was Orlando Brown, but on the fly here, I kind of just switched to Trent Williams.
For the sake of argument?
No, because like I said, the amount of time played at the left tackle position was an issue for me with Orlando Brown.
Mhm.
The youth, that's why I like Orlando Brown. The youthfulness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going consistency over youth right now. All right. Next one here, Chris. I told you we were going to do this. Fullbacks, Kyle Juszczyk, Anthony Sherman, probably the two best fullbacks in the NFL. On a list that's, I don't even know if there's 10 fullbacks in the NFL right now.
Probably not. But I do know that Kyle Juszczyk, I think, is definitely used more as a running back than probably any other fullback. I know he's often in the offensive stats, so they definitely use him as more of as more than just a blocker, like most fullbacks are. And like just simply put, I think his versatility to be able to be a running back is why I think I'd pick him. I mean, Sherman's not that bad either, but I think just Juszczyk has definitely shown more, I think, to me than Sherman has.
I agree. Yeah. Kyle Juszczyk's the overall all-around better player, used in the running, used in the receiving game, as well as blocking. And, that Niners team really missed him. Even though they did make the Super Bowl last year, he was out for a significant amount of time in the middle of that season in 2019, and they missed him. They had to use George Kittle and their other tight ends to serve as H-backs to block, and it wasn't as effective without Kyle Juszczyk in there. So, and the Chiefs running game, I don't think was anything special. I mean, they started out strong this year when Clyde Edwards-Helaire went off against the Texans week 1, but I didn't think they really had a running game most of the season with CEH or Le'Veon Bell or whoever else you want to name from the Chiefs stable of running backs. But yeah, I think Kyle Juszczyk, all around better fullback. Sherman. All right, here we go. The last one was hard. I was trying to find something here, and I was like, let's go the music route. So, The Weeknd or Ariana Grande? I'm gonna go with Ariana. I do like The Weeknd. Yeah, he had a pretty good Super Bowl performance, but I don't know. I like Ariana's voice. She has more songs on today's top hits Spotify playlist than The Weeknd does, and yeah, I don't know. I can vibe with her songs more than The Weeknd's. I guess that's what I'll end with.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have to agree with you on this one. I mean, I personally thought that the Super Bowl performance was a little lackluster. I didn't really like the halftime show this year, and I mean, even before that, I never really liked The Weeknd's music that much. And yeah, I think Ariana is definitely the better vocalist as well.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, that is all for our Would You Rather Monday game here. And now, Chris, will start off with your 2021 NFL Draft defensive line rankings. These are guys that are not considered pass rushers, so not 4-3 defensive ends or 3-4 outside linebackers. They are defensive tackles, nose guards, and 3-4 defensive ends. So here we go. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, so my number one is Christian Barmore from Alabama. He's obviously he just helped them win the national championship, and I mean he helps them to the playoffs pretty much every year. I mean since he's been there the last couple of years. But he's definitely one of the best, if not the best, defensive tackle in this draft. He's got all the tangibles, the size, the length, the he's definitely got the strength. And he's, even though we're technically not doing pass rushing in this one, he's definitely one of the best pass rushing defensive linemen in this draft. I have here that he, the last 2 seasons has earned pretty good grades, pass rushing grades. 2019 it was 88.1, and this year it was 91.5. So he showed improvement this year.
I guess we should change our lingo. These are guys that aren't edge rushers, not pass rushers.
Yeah. But the concern with him though is that he doesn't really have, he hasn't shown consistency. In one game he can have an Aaron Donald like performance, and the next you don't even see him on the stat sheet. So if he can get better consistently, I think he'd definitely be kind of like the guy I just mentioned, Aaron Donald. The next guy I have on my list, I'm sure Mark would love to see, being Alim McNeil from NC State.
Alim.
Or Alim, sorry. He plays nose tackle, and even though he's a nose tackle, he's still, just like Barmore, he's good at good in the pass game as well. He this past season he was definitely the best nose tackle in all of college football. He led all Power 5 defensive tackles in run defensive grade at 92.1. So clearly he's the best run defensive nose tackle in this draft. And yeah, he's pretty immovable, being 340 pounds. That's a very, very thick wall to try to knock down. And then my number 3 is Marvin Wilson, and he's got pretty great everything. One reason I had to put him on this list, I hate to watch it, but there was a video I saw of him, and he literally just completely flattens over Jets first round pick Mekhi Becton. I hate watching the clip, but at the same time, I love seeing this guy. He just runs straight through him. And yeah, he's definitely a two-way player there, being good in both passing and defensive and run defensive situations. And he played in Mike Norvell's defense at Florida State, and he was definitely featured in the 3 down fronts. So this is a guy that, if you're worried about being only situational, you don't have to worry about that. He can play every down and be effective on every play. So, and then my 4th guy here, Levi Onwuzurike or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. From Washington. he opted out of this past season, so there's not much to say about him for this past season because obviously he wasn't there to play. But in his two previous seasons in 2018 and 2019, he had pretty good seasons. He has shown a high level production, and he has incredible explosiveness. But there was a little bit of concern from 2018 to 2019 because he did take a little bit of a step back from 2018 to 2019 in terms of his overall grade and stuff. But that's the worry is that because obviously the NFL is so much more competitive than college. So the offensive linemen are so much better than they are in college. So if he can't get through the college lines, there's a chance he's not going to be good trying to get through the NFL lines. But if he can show that he can get back to form that he was in 2018, then he's definitely going to be a good. I think he's better off being a situational player than anything. Then my number 5 is Tyler Shelvin from LSU. He was on the championship team from 2019, and he was definitely more for run stuffing. That's basically what he does. He's a situational run stuffer, which is why I have him here at number 5. But when he is playing and he is doing his job, he does it exceptionally well. He in the championship season, he earned an 88.3 run grade, which was among the best on the season. And yeah, he has the size and the ability that all these other guys do, but he's definitely not a pass rusher like some of these other guys, which, like I said, is why I have him at 5. And then my final guy here, my sleeper, is Davion Nixon from Iowa. He's got a lot of potential here. He's done a lot in his couple of years there, especially in the sack department. He can get through the lines and stuff, but his tape in this past year was very up and down, which is why I think I think that's why I have him as the sleeper, because he's very inconsistent with his performances. I mean, he had grades of 80.6 and 90.3 against Northwestern and your team, Penn State. So he did good in those two games. Then he also had really bad grades of 44, 52.2, and 59.3 against Minnesota, Illinois, and Wisconsin. So it seems like against the higher competition, he doesn't play as well. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make it in the NFL. But I think if he can play up to his competition, I think he'll be just fine.
Illinois is trash. I'll just say that. But yeah, good list, Chris. A lot of the same guys here coming up on my list, different order. Number 1 stays the same. However, Christian Barmore is still at number 1. Probably the consensus number 1 defensive lineman in this draft. Definitely first round pick there from Alabama. Another. Why not? Why do we need another Alabama first rounder? So, but yeah, anyways, Christian Barmore was fantastic in the run to the college football playoff national championship this year, as well as last year's season as well for Bama. But I'm going to really start off at number 2, Levi Onwuzurike. He's number 2 because of his Senior Bowl performance. He was fantastic in the practices there. Really showed up in his strength against the lineman, the offensive lineman there. And, I think this is a guy that has pass rush potential. I'm not sure how stout he's going to be against the run. But I think more pass rush right now. I think he could gain some weight, and he would definitely be better in run stopping. Granted, he did have a couple run stuffs in the Senior Bowl game where he looked pretty good doing that. Number 3, Davion Nixon. I think he is an explosive pass rusher. I like him in the second round, actually. I think he's rising up draft boards. People are going to see his film. And, I don't know. Again, I think he's similar to Onwuzurike. I think both are considered pass rushers at this point. Need to get better at the run, probably get in the NFL weight room and strength program, build some more muscle and gains a couple more pounds there. But yeah, it was interesting. I forgot to say the 2 pictures that I had for you, Barmore and Nixon there. These guys don't even look like D linemen, dude. Especially Nixon. Nixon looks like a friggin' linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't help that they're wearing 50s numbers like linebackers do in the NFL. But yeah, I mean, they just don't look like they definitely need to gain some bulk. It looks like as interior lineman there. Number 4 is a guy that's intriguing, Osa Odighizuwa. Again, it's another pass rush guy. You gotta, you're not gonna win unless you can get to the quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. So Osa Odighizuwa, I think, is a lot more role than Onwuzurike and Nixon. He's a guy that most definitely needs to get in the weight room. And I think he can. His ceiling is probably similar to numbers 2 and 3 there. But right now, I think his floor is a lot lower. But I think with his raw talent, I think that he can improve into being up with the guys in the top there. Ty at number 5. This is the second time I've done this. But it was hard to pick between Marvin Wilson and Tyler Shelvin there. Marvin Wilson is a great interior presence there, as he was for Florida State. Was injured last season, didn't play in, I believe it was the whole entire second half of the season with a wrist injury. They didn't play this year. They opt out there. But, he was great in his 6 games, disruptive in the interior, can play both the run and pass very well, run stuffer. But I think with, NFL coaching, he can improve his pass rush and make some disruptions on the side there for a team. Tyler Shelvin, like you said, he's a run stuffer as well. I don't know if he's going to be a Snacks Harrison kind of guy or not, but, again, I think he has some pass rush potential. Just needs to get NFL coaching in order to unlock that. But yeah, I think early on in his career, he can be a 2-down guy, and then maybe substitute sometimes on 3rd down to get some pass rushing work. But mostly, I think 2-down guy to start his career there for Tyler Shelvin. My sleeper is Teron Jackson. Loved him. He was a part of the miracle season at Coastal Carolina this year. What did they call themselves? The Black Swarm? Something like that. I know it was Black something. I forget what the noun was that they used for their defense. But yeah, something to the tune of Black Swarm. Especially their defense really looked good, especially when they wore their all black uniforms. Those uniforms, I think, look fantastic. Just a side note. But anyways, yeah. Teron Jackson, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe he's the all-time leader in sacks at Coastal Carolina. Could be wrong. But yeah, I think that he was really a great presence, taking a step up from the Sun Belt to the NFL. But if you're looking for a guy that's a disruptor, can rush the passer early on in his career, needs help with his run defense, but I think Teron Jackson can be a guy that goes on day 3 that can really help in a situational pass rusher role early on in his career. So yeah, that is my 6 top 6.
I just fact checked you, and you are correct that he is the all-time sacks leader at Coastal with 25.
Alrighty, I knew something. There was something that I knew in my mind, anyways. But yeah, I think both are great lists. Like I said, similar lists, a little bit different order there.
I mean, you had one extra person on your list, but that's all right.
Davion Nixon is not a sleeper. Just saying.
I'm just saying too that he was pretty
far down. Day 2 pick. He's gonna be a day 2 pick.
Yeah, well, we'll see how he does, but he was down. He was far down on the list that I was looking at. So.
All right, and next Monday we will have all the NFL and NCAA news. Hopefully, there will be some more this upcoming weekend in between our shows, but we'll also have all of the SCF's recaps for the ranked teams games, as well as our draft rankings continue with the off-ball linebackers, 4-3 outside linebackers and middle linebackers, as well as 3-4 inside linebackers. We will be doing pass rushers on Football Friday this week. Edge rushers, not pass rushers, edge rushers on Friday. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to next Monday's show, though. I was a linebacker in high school. This is kind of my zone, especially when we have guys like Zaven Collins and Micah Parsons to pick from. It's going to be a difficult list, but that is all the show we have for today. A little bit longer than normal. There's a lot of recaps. I like it. There's football to talk about. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, as well as our website, faapodcast.com. And also, please subscribe, hit the little follow button on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you choose to get your podcasts from. Check us out here on Facebook as well. That would be great. Chris, as always, great show, my friend, and we'll see you on Friday.